Morning. We are back with the report of the US markets as well as the Bitcoin, gold, oil, and the US dollar. So, rough week for the markets. There was this huge drawdown across the board. The worst being NASDAQ that dropped by about 24%. The worst week for NASDAQ since the Liberation Day drawdown back in April. All because of the tech stocks. The tech stocks took a huge knock here. Meta, Nvidia, Google, all were Amazon, all of them were severely affected by this drawdown. And that was all because there was a concern regarding the tech sector valuation that perhaps they are too overvalued. Talk about the bubble had been going on for the last few weeks, and that was going to lead to strike home someday at some point. Even though that is somewhat unfounded, but still it had its impact on the markets. And it was compounded by the fact that the US government has been in a shutdown now for the longest ever period. We are now coming up to the eighth week of the shutdown, and that was making the investors nervous. Add to that the comment from Jensen Wong, in which he said that China is probably going to win the AI race against America. Add to that the comments from the Supreme Court justices. Add to that the comment from Jerome Powell. So it was a perfect storm for the markets, and the markets took the beating as a result. However, ended on a positive note. The market sprung back up towards the end in the last hour or two of trading when there was some talk of the government shutdown coming to an end. So that tells you how much the markets, how strong the markets are, how much the markets are looking to rally. That only on the slightest hint of the end of a shutdown, the market sprung back up and regained a lot of the ground, and both the Dow Jones as well as the S&P 500 managed to eke out a positive end to the week. Where do we go from here? Well, the markets and Bitcoin had a rough week. I think the markets are looking to rally from here. I've been saying this all of last week that the markets will rally, and the rally came at the end of last week in the last 1 or 2 hours, and came. It was a strong rally. I think if the shutdown does actually come to an end, the markets will continue the rally. I think a lot of the fear with regards to the tech sector being overvalued has also been washed out of the market. The correction has removed that fear from the market. So I think the markets will rally, and they will perhaps overshoot before coming back down a bit again. So look for a strong rally on Monday and Tuesday before things slow down again towards the middle and the end of the week. That's going to be the case with the markets as well as Bitcoin. I think that's what's going to happen. But we'll talk more about that in our overview for next week. So this is the story so far. Markets made a recovery at the end. Bitcoin made a recovery at the end. Oil prices remain pretty static. Gold prices haven't shot up as they normally do. And I've been saying this all along that gold will not go up because it is expected that the money that is on the sidelines will go back into the markets, and which is why we did not see it going into gold. And the US dollar remained weak in view of the shutdown. But as the talk of the shutdown coming to an end started last night, the US dollar also seemed to gain some ground. So, this is the story so far. We will give you a forecast for next week, so stay tuned for more.